Tonight on To The Point, questions about 2 unannounced ICE visits in Sacramento. Now local and federal leaders are demanding answers.
Every business, every person has a right to feel safe in their place of business.
What the Department of Homeland Security is saying tonight. Federal agents raiding the home of former California Congressman Eric Swalwell as a federal investigation into sexual assault claims moves forward. The price you see at the store could depend on who you are. The federal crackdown on surveillance pricing and what it could mean for your wallet. And in our Champions of Hope,
I just feel like every animal deserves to have a good home.
we meet the family who opened their hearts and gave 2 pups a second chance. An unannounced visit by ICE at 2 Sacramento locations is now getting the attention of U.S. Senators Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla. Thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. They are demanding answers about why agents showed up and what happened inside. It is a story that we are continuing to cover. I'm going to hand things off to ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen, who is back again with an update.
Well, Alex, Senators Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla's offices confirmed they want answers about why ICE showed up at a Natomas law firm and a nonprofit. The CEO of Wind Youth Services tells me Schiff's office also reached out to her this morning. As these 2 separate ICE visits in Sacramento are drawing federal and local attention, Sacramento City Council member Lisa Kaplan is calling on the administration to stop.
Every business, every person has a right to feel safe in their place of business.
Sacramento City Council member Lisa Kaplan says she was angry upon hearing ICE agents showed up unannounced and without a warrant to the Morris Law Group in Natomas. Last Friday, immigration attorney Raisa Morris told ABC 10 ICE agents tried getting access to her business to check if there were any beds for her clients in her office. She turned them away because they did not have a warrant.
They could have a list from Washington, D.C. with clients listing this as their mailing address, and at any time, even at 3 a.m., if they were looking for somebody, they could come and break into my building and to look if I had my clients here living in the building.
The Department of Homeland Security has a different story. A spokesperson told ABC 10 the officers approached an unmarked door during a targeted enforcement operation, thinking it was the target address. But upon finding out it was a law firm, they departed the address.
I think we need to call lies. That is abuse. It is an attempt to distort, because if you go to that place of business, it is very clearly marked Morris Law Group.
This video shows the front of the building clearly identifies it as a law office. ABC 10 asked DHS and ICE why officers still engaged with office staff, even though the location clearly showed it as a law firm. We did not receive a response. U.S. Senator Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla's office both confirmed they are going to investigate the visit, as well as the incident at Wind Youth Services.
Senator Schiff's office reached out to me this morning. I really appreciate the support and, kind of the concern for our community and the rights of our citizens and the processes that are just completely inappropriate.
Last Friday morning, ICE agents showed up to the nonprofit asking for a person who they claim wanted to self-deport. Without a warrant, Miran Hauer says she turned them away. A DHS spokesperson tells ABC 10 this person is a, quote, criminal illegal alien from Venezuela charged with trespassing. And officers were attempting to locate him because he indicated he wanted to return to his home country. Even though Howard disagrees with ICE's tactics, she reiterates any agency without a warrant will not get access to her organization.
We feel very supported by the, law enforcement, but we also don't share information with them without a warrant. Wind has to be a safe place. We serve youth experiencing homelessness or at risk of experiencing homelessness.
And even though Raisa Morris wasn't available for an interview today, she did push back on DHS's statement saying her building is clearly marked. And in order to find the building address, they would have to see the logo and firm name on the building, Alex.
All right, Jenny, thank you for the update. Republican candidate for governor Steve Hilton made a stop in Sacramento today. He spoke at a protest opposing California's new regulations on replacement tires. Yesterday, the California Energy Commission advanced the regulation. Starting in 2029, all replacement tires sold for passenger vehicles and light-duty trucks in California must have the same fuel efficiency as the original tires that you drive off the lot. State energy leaders say the new standard is a way for Californians to save nearly $1 billion a year in gas and electricity while reducing carbon emissions. Opponents, including Steve Hilton, argue the regulation will ultimately cost drivers more.
Hands off our tires. Hands off our tires. We are done with these bureaucrats and these politicians in our state making everything so insanely expensive.
In an unrelated press conference yesterday, Governor Gavin Newsom praised the program.
Look, the ROI is pretty good. The return on investment, back to just facts. Save $1 billion a year in fuel. You talk about affordability agenda, that makes some sense to me. From a consumer perspective, the savings is self-evident, and so I think it was a good choice in that respect.
All right, now some new developments in the investigations into former Congressman Eric Swalwell. Sources tell ABC News the FBI seized his electronic devices at San Francisco airport Saturday. Agents also served a search warrant at his Washington, D.C. home on Sunday. Reporter Monica Madden has the latest for us.
4 months after Eric Swalwell resigned from Congress over explosive sexual misconduct accusations,
these allegations of sexual assault are flat false.
Sources tell ABC News that federal agents seized his laptop and cell phone at San Francisco's airport Saturday and raided his D.C. home on Sunday. The probe is directly tied to the sexual assault claims, ABC News has learned.
It makes sense to do a search warrant for the devices. It makes sense to look at any communications that he might have had with victims, either in terms of admitting conduct. Sometimes what you're looking for in a multiple victim case is sort of a consistent pattern.
Former federal prosecutor Anthony Brass says investigators are likely looking to confirm what the women are accusing him of.
When you get the communications, you get those efforts to cover up, efforts to dissuade reporting, and all of that. And that helps to corroborate the word of the victims.
The Manhattan District Attorney and Los Angeles Sheriff's Department are investigating the accusations, including one from Lana Drews. She says she met Swalwell socially in 2018 and that he drugged and raped her.
He raped me, and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died.
Her attorney tells us in a statement that they are, quote, encouraged to learn about the escalation of the FBI's investigation into the allegations against Eric Swalwell, and that they will continue to cooperate with law enforcement in their fight for justice. Brass says the FBI could be involved due to jurisdictional issues or due to Swalwell's former role in Congress.
It is a federal government case, right? It stems from the abuse of a position of power within the federal government. So it makes sense that the FBI would get involved.
Swalwell and his attorney did not respond to our request for comment.
Still ahead on To the Point, Iran pushes back after President Trump threatened a major economic plan against the country. Tonight, Iran's response. And we meet our champions of hope who are opening their hearts to a couple of pups who are in need of a forever home.
And temperatures are staying very seasonal as we work in towards the weekend. Upper 80s to low 90s. I've got a full look at the forecast after the break.
But first, another headlines tonight. The man accused of stabbing 5 people at Thunder Valley Casino last night has been identified by the Placer County Sheriff's Office. 22-year-old Joseph Noggle is facing attempted homicide charges. Investigators say he knew all of the victims. One of them is in the hospital. The stabbing happened around 7 last night at Dos Coyotes restaurant inside the casino. The Democratic National Committee is narrowing its location choices for the party's 2028 convention. Philadelphia, Boston, and Denver are the final 3 contenders. DNC officials are evaluating each city in terms of capacity and readiness to host the big event. The 2028 Democratic National Convention will take place August 7th through August 10th of that year. And the Christian metal band Demon Hunter is suing Netflix over its animated musical film K-pop Demon Hunters. They want Netflix to stop using the phrase K-pop Demon Hunters in things like music releases, on DVDs, bumper stickers, wall calendars, and live events. A Netflix representative said the allegations are without merit and the company intends to fight the suit. All right, Brendan, I have to say, I kind of like this weather story. It's consistent, it's seasonal, it's 90s, perfect summer vibes right now. I love it. But is the weather staying like this, I guess, is my biggest question.
Staying consistent. Yes, it will.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going to see a lot of temperature variations, upper 80s to mid 90s, not just over the next few days or over the weekend, but through next week. Not a lot of change. And you know, at this time of year, that can really be a good thing. 91 in Sacramento was our high today, 95 in Stockton, 95 Modesto, 85 Tahoe, 86 in Truckee. Temperatures in the valley within a degree or two of what we would expect for the time of year. In the 80s right now in Sacramento and Elk Grove, 87 in Vacaville, 78 in Fairfield, 92 Stockton, 93 in Modesto, some 80s up near Tahoe. We've got a nicer Delta breeze this evening than what we've seen the last couple evenings. It's not that it's real strong. It's only about 10 to 15 miles per hour, but that's an improvement from the 5 to 10 miles per hour that we've had the last couple of afternoons. So as we look at the overnight here, Friday morning, dropping into those upper 50s with clouds moving through. So a mostly cloudy start to Friday is expected. 62 in Angels Camp and Jackson, 70 in Placerville, 49 in Truckee. Again, some upper 50s and low 60s in the valley. There's those clouds moving through during the overnight. We'll continue to see partly cloudy skies as we go through Friday afternoon, although we'll start to see some clearing skies as we begin the weekend. So some clouds tomorrow, but temperatures in the upper 80s and low 90s across the valley. 89 in Sacramento, 89 in Vacaville, 88 in Fairfield, 91 in Stockton, 91 Manteca, 93 in Modesto, some 80s and 90s in the foothills, and some low to mid 80s up near Tahoe. Those winds, again, nicer this evening. It'll remain a little bit breezy through the overnight. We'll see another Delta breeze picking up through the late afternoon hours tomorrow. Some wind gusts across the Sierra Crest, but Saturday's when we see those strongest winds. By lunchtime, already 20 to 25 miles per hour, and through the afternoon on Saturday in the high country, some wind gusts could be up towards 40 miles per hour. So that is leading to some higher fire danger across the high country due to the winds. And it's all because of this low pressure system that's going to be moving into the Pacific Northwest, increasing the Delta breeze and the high country winds as we go into especially Saturday. So a nicer evening breeze on Saturday, gusty conditions in the Sierra on Saturday. But really over the next 10 days, consistency is the name of the game, Alex.
All right, Brennan, thank you. All right, after the break, Iran is pushing back after President Trump threatened new economic pressure against the country. When we come back, Iran's response and the growing concerns in the U.S.
Sacramento International Airport has a new system for monitoring traffic congestion at its terminals and issuing citations. 28 curbside cameras are now fully operational at the pickup and drop-off areas of terminals A and B.
So the way the system works is when a vehicle pulls up to the curb, the camera catches the license plate of the vehicle and then starts a clock. If that vehicle exceeds a certain threshold, we found 4 minutes to be the best threshold. It will ping our airport operations worker and just say, hey, this vehicle is here in this zone. If the vehicle leaves, then the notice is just deleted from the system. If the vehicle remains, our staff will go speak with the vehicle and say, hey, can I help you?
Typically, the driver is waiting to pick someone up, so the airport operations worker tells them to circle back around or go to the free waiting lot. But if they don't move, the worker can decide to issue them a citation.
So what that looks like is on that text notification that they got from the camera, they can open Automotus, the Curb Suite application, and then issue the ticket directly from their phone.
The driver receives the citation in the mail. Automotus is the company partnering with SMF on this. So far this year, the airport has issued about 100 citations at $57.50 a pop.
The cameras are not able to auto issue citations. That's a question we've gotten a lot. There always has to be that person clicking that button saying, yes, I spoke with the vehicle. Yes, this is the correct vehicle too.
As for what happens to that data, SMF doesn't house any of it on site.
The only time we keep the information is if that ticket is issued.
Welcome back in. Iran is dismissing a threat from President Trump, who announced yesterday a, quote, crushing economic plan against the country. But Iran today firing back, referencing America's own economic troubles. ABC's Olivia Rubin has more in Washington.
Today, Iran responding after President Trump threatened, quote, economic D-Day against the country, saying he would undertake what he says will be the, quote, most crushing economic plan ever taken against any country. Trump not giving concrete details of the plan, but saying any country that, quote, allows its financial institutions, businesses, airports, or government entities to help Iran will also face tremendous economic consequences. But Iran's foreign minister today firing back, saying Trump's announcement is, quote, a diversion from America's own crisis, unprecedented debt, and surging costs. It's a clear reference to a stark milestone back here at home, U.S. national debt hitting a record $40 trillion, which could worsen inflation and drive up the cost for Americans' everyday borrowing, including on credit cards and mortgages. And today, America's biggest retailer, Walmart, reporting strong earnings but slower U.S. sales, citing in part higher fuel prices, forcing consumers to pull back on spending.
Oil prices are surging since the war with Iran began. AAA reports the average price for a gallon of regular gas is now $5.88, up $1.09 from a year ago. And this all comes as President Trump struggles to end the war in Iran. A new poll showing that Trump's approval rating, is at a record low, sitting at about 33%. All right, let's talk about surveillance pricing. The federal government is looking to crack down on it, and that's when companies use shoppers' personal data to set different prices for the same item using AI. So the Federal Trade Commission is warning businesses to disclose if a price is personalized and the type of data used to set that price. The chairman of the FTC says the agency does not have the authority to ban personalized pricing, but some states are, like New Jersey recently did in grocery stores.
Over the course of a year, a family could spend $1,200 more for the very same groceries just because of an invisible algorithm. That's just wrong.
Online shopping platforms like Instacart have come under scrutiny for the practice. Instacart saying in a statement it fell short of customer expectations and would end all item pricing tests on the platform, saying people at the same store at the same time will see the same prices, period. All right, heading out to Roseville, they hosted their annual State of the City today. Mayor Krista Bernasconi shared updates on the economic growth Roseville has seen. If you've been out there, you know some of these growths that they've had. The event was held at the recently built Placer Valley Sports Complex, which has already brought in almost $40 million to the city. The mayor also mentioning more than 3,000 single-family homes are expected to be built in the next 4 to 5 years, with 6,000 multifamily homes set to be built in the next 10 years. The new West Roseville Costco has brought in about 2.5 million people. The mayor saying long-term planning has really led to the city's success.
Our home field advantage was built by planning for growth and by community leaders whose vision continues to benefit future generations. That is what makes Roseville special.
Mayor Bernasconi says Roseville's economy is more diverse than ever and that new schools are currently being opened and planned in Roseville. And look, our team has spent a lot of time in Roseville, specifically West Roseville. It's really changing, and we looked at how it's changing and how they're actually keeping up with all this demand. You can catch our West Roseville special right now on the home screen of our ABC 10 TV streaming app, free to download to your TV. Well, it is Thursday. You know, we want to get into some happy news right after the break. Our champions of hope. We have 2 little pups we're going to introduce you to. They lost their owner in the Caldor fire. Now their family is be giving a forever home. We're going to introduce them to you after the break. Each week in our Champions of Hope, we love to share stories that are positive about people that are really making a difference in our community. 5 years ago this week, the Caldor fire forced thousands of people and their pets from their homes. Among them were Bentley and Gail, who have spent years in a shelter. Now their story has a new chapter.
As soon as we met them, I just melted and had to bring them home.
Bentley and Gail now have a new place to call home after being in and out of El Dorado County Animal Services care for years. Their first owner lost his Grizzly Flats home in the Caldor fire. Months later, they got to go back home until their owner died. We featured their story nearly 2 years ago on ABC 10. Animal Services were looking for a new family for the bonded pair of pit bulls. This spring, Dave and Nancy answered that call.
And I can't imagine not having them in our lives. So.
Dave Anderson says the best part about owning Bentley and Gail is connection, something that can help carry us through even the hardest times.
Just about making a connection with somebody else, whether it be a person or a dog or a cat, or connections are just wonderful to make. I just feel like every animal deserves to have a good home.
Bentley and Gail now have a new place with a growing connection and stability after years of uncertainty.
They've been through a lot, and they deserve a lot better. So, and I think they got it now.
Now, during the Caldor fire, the El Dorado County Animal Services cared for hundreds of animals. Their staff told us that success stories like this are really what keep them coming back. As always, thank you so much for watching, for always inviting us into your home. If you have a champion of hope or a story idea or even a question on a story that we've done, you already know you can always reach out to our team at tothepoint@abc10.com. Have a great night. I'll see you on Friday.